Hi, everyone. We'll get started in just a minute. So we'll probably start in 2 minutes, I would say. So if you need to go and grab a glass of water or anything, or your mid-afternoon cup of coffee, you have a few more minutes. So just to let you know, we'll get started here in just 2 to 3 minutes. Thanks. All right, for those of you just joining us, we'll get started here in just 1 more minute. We're gonna give some time to people that are coming from other meetings or things like that. So we'll get started here in just 1 minute. Thank you. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's last workshop for the Skag region. Um, Nice to see so many familiar faces here. So my name is Morgan Sapia. I've been on the other workshops here, but just in case you haven't been to any of the other workshops, my name is Morgan Sapia. I am an account executive on Esri's Smart City Solutions team, and my focus is on Arcgis Hub. So that's what today's workshop will be focused on. I'm also joined by Robin and Harry, who will be supporting this workshop with me. So Robin, do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm sure you probably all know me from the previous workshops, but if not, nice to meet you. I'm Robin Franke. I'm an account executive on the Smart Cities team, focusing on enabling planners with ArcGIS Urban. Thank you. I'll pass it over to Harry.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Harry Moore. I'm a solution engineer that helps support SCAG, and I've worked extensively with both Morgan and Robin in the past, and we will in the future. And I'm excited to be here today, and I'm really excited to talk and have you guys understand what ArcGIS Hub is. So I'll be here the whole day. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Harry. Thanks, Robin. So just to let all of you know, Harry and Robin are here to help with some questions. And if you get stuck, let us know. I'm sure we're all very familiar with Zoom at this point, given we've been all pretty much online for the past 2.5 years. But go ahead, you can always use the chat to ask questions. We will be monitoring that chat. Also, there will be times when I ask you to give, thumbs up emojis or like green check marks or, kind of participate so I can kind of know if you're following along and things like that. So I know we're all probably pretty familiar with that now. But again, if you go into the chat, there's the little emoji sign there. You can also kind of thumbs up, I believe, in your own little side panel here as well. So we're going to be using that to kind of make sure that we're all following along during the right parts here. I will be turning off my camera just for bandwidth purposes, but just wanted to let you know that. So today will be a very fun-filled and busy workshop. I mean, if you're familiar with some of the other ones, right, that you've gone through, definitely you're used to the fast-paced. Thanks, Harry. I like the emoji. You're definitely used to the workshop workflow here. So this afternoon will be broken up into 3 parts. The first 15 minutes or so will be a Hub overview, followed by a quick demonstration of Hub, so that all of you can kind of get familiar with what this product is. The second half will then be a hands-on workshop dedicated to all of you getting your hands on the product. And then what we'll do at the end is wrap things up with a little bit of Q&A and talk about next steps. So with that, just to let you know, you will be needing that email that I sent you yesterday. I believe the email subject line was something like ArcGIS Hub workshop information. And I sent it honestly around this time yesterday. So you will be needing that email later on. So just be mindful of that. This workshop is also being recorded. And like I mentioned, this is the 4th workshop of the 4 workshop series that is being presented and hosted by SCAG. So this workshop is being recorded and will be posted to the Planner's Corner once we have finished up today. So with that, let's dive in and start to explain why we built this system called Hub. So we know that communities all around the world want to become smarter, right? By being more healthy, more prosperous, and safer. But as they evolve and grow, they're facing some pretty complex challenges. And information sharing is not as simple as it once was. And there's a lot of organizations that haven't modernized their information sharing, but are faced with their residents caring more and more about their smart communities and homes. So governments have to disseminate more information faster. But there's a lot of challenges that come with some of that information sharing. So a recent study shows that very few Americans think that their government is sharing data in an effective way. So according to the Pew Research study, 7%, only 7% of Americans say that their government is sharing data very effectively. So whether or not we are sharing data, our residents don't think that they are. Another fact from a recent study shows that over a third of US cities still don't have a platform and process to release information to their residents. Now, this is just showing cities, not counties or regional governments, but over a third don't have a platform and process. So how are our residents receiving authoritative information that's trustworthy? And last but certainly not least, in relationship to community building and really being a part of community-wide change, almost 75% of Americans have never volunteered. So what we see is that key stakeholders in government, universities, and the public are currently not synced on data, information, and goals, which many times results in an uninformed public, misunderstood government, and economic pressures. So the bottom line is we needed a common platform to holistically organize this spectrum of information that's being shared between these stakeholders so that there's an understanding and a commonality between these stakeholders to really achieve these community-wide goals. And so that's why we developed Arcgis Hub. Hub is an all-inclusive community engagement platform that hosts data sharing, establishes community-wide initiatives, and leverages the broader community. And so we've focused on making this system really simple to use. So it's browser-based and sits on top of your ArcGIS Online. So all of you here today have access to Arcgis Hub. And so really the purpose of today is to show you how you can start launching a template for some of the work that you're all doing in relationship to, general plan updates and different things like that. So what does that mean then, right? So, what can Hub actually do? Well, first, share data. And again, it's the ability to share data on a platform that's already integrated with the systems that you're using, right? So that makes data collection and organization more streamlined and efficient for all of you government employees. Hub also allows you to provide better collaboration within communities, governments, and universities by supporting feedback tools or events. So community members can actually evaluate goals and help submit or talk about their feedback related to the general plan update or some of the other elements that you're working on. Hub also provides a modern approach to community building. So it's really a platform to encourage people to be a part of a community-wide initiative. And last but certainly not least, Hub allows you and other departments to quickly spin up project pages, again, with feedback tools. So that way you can communicate changes that are happening and explore new visions or goals that the stakeholders really want to achieve. So with that, what I'm going to do now is go over a really quick demonstration of a few Hub examples and then a little bit of the backend technology. The first example that I'm showing you here is from the Borough of State College in Pennsylvania. Fun fact, I'm actually from State College, so I definitely had to show this Hub site. But the reason why I wanted to show you this Hub site is because they've actually enabled ArcGIS Urban and Hub together to provide deeper understanding of the projects that State College is working on. So we have some project overviews. We learn about what ArcGIS Urban is, right? And then what we see here is ArcGIS Urban actually embedded into ArcGIS Hub. So what we're looking at is a Hub site, but they've included Urban into it. What I can do here is I can select a project that I'm interested in learning about. And then of course, the pop-up on the right-hand side shows me more about the project, how many acres it is, the review date, and whether or not it's completed or in progress. Of course, then I can look at the existing conditions as well and kind of take a look at the differences between what's being proposed or what's already been developed and what's currently there. So if we look at a project that is under review right now or under construction, excuse me. Again, similarly, I can see what's existing there, and then I can see what's being proposed. We can open it up inside of Urban if we wanted to, but this right now is basically just showing you kind of just interfacing the urban inside of ArcGIS Hub. Then, of course, we have a few other applications that I can go ahead and explore. For example, State College has actually included a story map in which I can take a look at the different projects, learn a little bit more about them. Again, they've embedded ArcGIS Urban into these story maps, so that way I can explore the projects in more detail. The next example that I wanted to show you is from the city of Fullerton. So this hub site is a really great kind of information sharing hub site, if you will. We can see some really quick statistics about the city, and then we can see what the city is actually working on. If I'm interested in their housing game plan here, I can take a look at this initiative. I can learn about what the housing game plan is. It's a comprehensive plan, right, to address housing in Fullerton. And then we have the option to jump to different sections within this hub site. One of the best things about this is the fact that they have these demographic flashcards, so to speak. And what I can actually do is explore some categories here and really kind of, it's a really easy way to look at the data and to kind of understand the demographic data for the city of Fullerton. Then, of course, within Hub, we can embed videos as well. So the city of Fullerton has done just that. We have some documents here to review and also to comment on if we wanted to. We can see where the housing game plan is going in the draft. And then we can also download some documents as well. They have included some interactive maps as well. So if I wanted to take a look at their median household income map here, I can now explore this, zoom in and out, and even select specific areas and learn more about that median household income. The next example that I wanted to show you is a proof of concept example that I created for the city of Baltimore. As I mentioned, this is a proof of concept. This isn't their hub site. They are using Hub though, if you were interested in that. But really what they wanted to do is they wanted to, again, collect community feedback, but then they also wanted a way to engage and collaborate with very specific stakeholders. If you attended the business analyst workshop that was hosted, maybe 2 weeks ago or so, I just wanted to show you that you can include business analyst information inside of your ArcGIS Hub. So Hub is kind of what I like to say, it's a really pretty box with a bow on it, right? You made your urban models and projects and scenarios. You ran some information and learned a little bit more about your city through business analyst. And now what you can do is you can put it all into ArcGIS Hub and share it to your community as a one-stop shop location for all of the information that they need in regards to what's happening at the city or in your county. As I scroll down here, there is an event that I can click on. Within this event, I can share it via my Facebook, Twitter, or my email. I can see where the event is being held. And on top of that too, if there was an online version of that event, we do include those URLs. So this is an event management system on the back end of ArcGIS Hub. And then scrolling down one more time here, again, we're going to see an urban model, but then what we're also going to see is a survey 123 right next to it. The purpose of this is for your residents to be able to explore the different scenarios that the city is proposing, but then also provide their feedback based on their opinions. So if I wanted to, I can take a look at the different scenarios here for this land. So I see the first scenario, the second scenario, and then the third. Of course, I can read more about it here, but then I can go ahead, take my survey, and let the city know what my thoughts are. So if I like the green space, I think that my city really listened to me. I don't have any other comments, and now I'm going to submit that. Now what you can do as a planner is you can take that information, analyze it, and then include it in the next phase of your planning process. However, what I also wanted to mention is that the city wanted a way to also collaborate with really key stakeholders. So what they wanted to do is they wanted to collaborate with whether it's developers or people that are helping with these projects, environmental groups. And what they've enabled are these community identities, if I got my password right. And what you'll see at the top of my screen here is that a new tab appears that wasn't there before. The reason why this tab appears is because I'm now signed in as one of these stakeholders. So now I get access to brand new information, whether it's different urban models and scenarios, maybe different data. And what I can even do is upload my own data as well. So just to take a quick look at that, if I wanted to add in my content, I'd be able to. Jumping back over to the Hub site, of course, we see some urban models here, maybe some additional information that's not shared publicly. And then scrolling down here, we can also share out surveys or applications that, again, are only accessible by these very specific individuals. So I've just showed a lot and a few examples here, but are there any questions? And Lillian, I see that you didn't receive the email. That's totally fine. We'll be able to get to that in a minute. All right. So believe it or not, creating one of these hub sites is really, really easy. And again, during the second part of our workshop here, we will go over, exactly how to create one of these hub sites. So I'm on the back end of Arcgis Hub right now. And if I wanted to go ahead and create a new initiative, what's really great is we have these things called templates. And we'll be able to get into the templates in a bit more detail here shortly. But if I wanted to explore some of the Esri templates that we have access to, I'd be able to do that. Again, I can also explore the world templates as well. And not to spoil the surprise, but there is actually a SCAG template, which is what we will be walking through here in just a few minutes. But if I go back to go back into Esri here, and maybe I want to do something with feedback related to a very specific project, what I can do is I can activate this template, give it a name, and hit go. So basically what's happening for me in the background are a bunch of different assets are being grouped together. Now, I am not a web developer. I am not a website designer. And that's why I really love these templates. Hub is low code, no code. So you don't need to be a web expert at all. You don't need to know coding, HTML or CSS. It's all editable with point and click and drop capabilities. So it's almost kind of like, if, I don't know if you remember MySpace or whatever, you could kind of drag in different elements, or if you wanted to go into some of the code and tap into some of that knowledge, right? You can easily do so as well. So once I land on my hub site, we'll see some navigation options. I don't actually need that, so I'm just going to get out of there. Now I feel more inspired when I can look at a really cool picture, and this picture isn't doing it for me. So I can go ahead and just start changing this hub site for the organization or the project that I'm making it for. Say, for example, I want a skyline image here. I can bring that in. It looks a little bright. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is add a black overlay to the top of this picture, just so my text stands out a little bit more from that background. Now I realized I don't really like what this title says. I just don't think it's very representative of the project that I'm working on. So what I can go ahead and do is just delete what's currently in there. And I can go ahead and start changing the style of these individual elements as well. Scrolling down, as I mentioned, you'll see some pre-populated items. Again, no coding is necessary here. So if I wanted to introduce my project and say that it's not 8 weeks, but a 10-week long project, that it's not $200,000, but $300,000, I can go ahead and just start typing into these text boxes and it'll start to change. Along with that, if I wanted to tell my community, hey, we're in the design phase of this project, I can go ahead and bold this section here to indicate that change there. And then not only is adding elements or editing existing cards and elements really easy, but if you wanted to add in a few more, that is also very easy to do so. So what I can go ahead and do is start dropping in some different cards here that I'm interested in. So say, for example, I wanted to create a survey or make a survey related to the project at hand here. I can drag in my survey card, choose to create a survey, and then it's telling me, hey, what kind of survey do you want to make? A map-based survey, a questionnaire, a quick poll, or do I want to make one from scratch? I'm going to go ahead and choose a quick poll survey. Again, just like with that Hub template, where it kind of created all of those images and items and the timelines and all of that stuff that you saw, the survey item is doing the same exact thing. So it's basically grouping together some images for me, some questions for me. And whenever it loads up, just like with Hub, we can start editing the individual questions. So because this is a quick poll, we only have one question. How satisfied are you with local public transportation? I'll keep that question, even though it doesn't have anything to do with my downtown development. But I can also then add in, a multi-line text. And then I can go ahead, save this, and then publish my survey as well. So this will just take 1 minute to publish, but we can also include maps here. We can include document uploads here. You can also have Likert scales as well. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can enable this community feedback related to the project that you're working on or your general plan update. And again, we'll be able to take a look at some of the surveys within the SCAG general plan update template that we'll be walking through during the hands-on portion. So this will take 1 minute. All right, so now we get the notification that this has been published successfully. If we jump on back to my Hub site here, scroll down where we had that survey, go ahead, select survey, and now we're gonna see my quick poll that I had just created. Once we add that in, we could also embed the survey here too, if we didn't want people to click out of it to be able to take it, but we can just embed it here and learn so that our residents can have quick access to it. One other thing that I wanted to mention is that you can also include different applications as well. So perhaps there's a dashboard related to community feedback. Everybody takes a survey and then it automatically updates a dashboard. You can go ahead and add that type of, information here as well. So as you see, it's all drag and drop. It's really easy to customize. And there's a lot of features in here that you'll have the chance to explore here in just a moment. So with that, we're now going to jump on over and start our hands-on portion. So as I mentioned, you should have received an email from me yesterday about your student login. So if you can pull that up, that would be great. And Lillian, I will get you.
Yeah, Morgan, we already gave Lillian one.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Robin. So does everybody have that email? The subject line was Arcgis Hub workshop information. You do, thumbs up, love that. That's great. All right. If you don't, just let us know, and we'll be able to get you a login. So what I want everybody to do is to go to hub.arcgis.com. So I just typed it into the chat. So all you have to do is click on that URL there, and it should bring you to a page that looks a lot like this. Once here, choose to sign in. And when the sign in prompt opens, you're going to type in your student username. So if you're student 5, type in urban underscore student 5. If you're 60, type in urban student 60. And then your password is going to be cloud GIS 123. It is case sensitive. So the exact way that I typed it into the chat is how you will want to type it into your password section. So again, the password is cloud GIS 123 with a capital C and a capital GIS. So once you log in, you should see a screen that looks just like this. If you could all give me like a green check mark, a thumbs up, a cheersing emoji, something positive to make it seem like you're in there. All right, I'm seeing a lot of thumbs ups, green checks. Good to see, thumbs up. Great, cool. All right, so I think, yes, I like the smiley emoji too. All right. So once we're here, we are all going to go ahead and create a new initiative. Now, please, just for, the first 10 minutes of this workshop, please, please, please follow along with me. We're all working inside of the same environment. And I just want to make sure that we all have kind of like our own working spaces to work inside of throughout this workshop. So please, just for the first 10 minutes, follow along. After that, if you want to go off and do whatever, go ahead. But again, I just want to make sure that we're all set up correctly, so that way we all have our own space. So what you're going to go ahead and do is click New under Initiatives here. So you're going to click New Initiative. And then we're going to browse templates. All right, we're going to browse templates. The first thing that you're going to see is a template within your organization. Now, this basically means that there was somebody else in our org that created their own template. So this is a value of Hub, is that you can actually make your own templates that match your own branding guidelines, or marketing guidelines with your colors and images and things like that. But what we're going to do is we are going to uncheck my organization, but check on world. All right, so we want to have the world checked on. And then we're going to go ahead and type in SCAG. So this template was created for you, for everybody here. So that way you have a really easy launching point into developing your Hub site and including your urban models, including your business analyst information that you've run, including other maps and apps. So we created this for you to use within your own organization. Now, all of you here are using, our workshop org, but I highly recommend that after this call, you log into your own organization and go ahead and launch this. And you'll see why. It's really, really helpful. All right. So once we type in SCAG, we're going to activate the initiative. Now we're going to delete everything that's in that title. All right. And what we want to do is we want to name it General Plan Update SCAG with your student number. All right. Oh, if I could spell, that would be great. So we're doing a General Plan Update Hub initiative with the word SCAG at the end, but please include your student number. Again, we're all working in the same environment, and I just want to make sure you all have something to work in, and you're not kind of going into somebody else's Hub site. All right, so I'm going to name mine admin, but if you're student 60, if you're student 5, go ahead and put 5 at the end of it. Or you could put your name. You could also put your city name. You can be creative. So then you're going to hit go. It is going to take a minute for all of these to launch. We're all hitting, the workshop organization at the same exact time. So it will take a minute for all of ours to load up. So just hold on tight here. Are there any questions so far? I'm not seeing any in the chat, but is there any questions? You can unmute yourself too if you want and ask. All right, that's fine. Is anybody here familiar with ArcGIS Hub? Has anybody created one? You can always put up like a hand or a green check mark, or curious if anybody's seen it or used it.
Hey Morgan, I was wondering if you could just take a couple steps back, like
Sure.
from going to the main ArcGIS Hub page and then logging in. Some people are lost, so.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thanks, Robin. All right. So if you are on the overview page here, what we want you to do is click new. All right. So we're going to create
start like even further back, just like logging in and accessing the template.
Sure. So if you've logged into hub.arcgis.com, what you'll be able to do is go to overview. Once you're in the overview, you're going to go to new initiative. So under initiatives here, you're going to click new. Once you click new, you're going to browse templates. So once you browse templates, oh, all right. I think we're good on the feedback. All right. So next, what we want to do is we want to uncheck my organization, but check on worlds. All right. And then we're going to type in SCAG and hit enter on your keyboard. Once you hit enter, you should see the SCAG member agency local general plan update site template. We can activate this template. We're going to remove everything that's in that name, and we're going to name it the general plan update SCAG with your student number. Or your name or your city name. Yeah, no problem. Thanks. And then we're going to hit go. All right. Hopefully that helps. Thanks, Robin. Okay. How are we all doing out there? Can I get a few thumbs ups, green check marks, thumbs up, cheering emojis? Yeah, I love the cheering emoji. Those are always great. Thumbs ups. Okay, great. Great. All right. So we'll keep on moving on. Okay, so you saw I got out of the navigation by accident. But if you had a navigation square, it was a navigation panel, you can just exit out of that. It's a pop-up. That pop-up is basically giving you directions on I get a welcome, get started. What do we select? Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So you can actually exit out of that. I apologize. I got out of my pop-up. But yeah, if you have that welcome, get started, just hit exit on the top right corner. All right. So now you should see something that looks exactly like mine here. All right. So we have a title, the general plan update. We have some, if you scroll through, you're going to see a lot of different elements here. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you what's created. Now, just take a look at my screen here for a minute. You don't have to follow along on your own screen, but just take a look at mine and you can see, and so that way you can just see what I'm showing you. So within Hub is built on top of ArcGIS Online. So what that means is it kind of is an addition to ArcGIS Online. And ArcGIS Online, right, is where you create your urban projects. That's where you ran some business analyst demographic reports. That's where you create different applications. And so Hub is very similar to everything that I just mentioned, right? You do the Hub stuff kind of within your ArcGIS Online. So what I want to show you is that whenever you create a new Hub site, within your ArcGIS Online, there's actually a folder that's also created. And so within this folder, what you'll see is that there's a bunch of different pages that are created. And this is really where you can do a lot of managing for your Hub site. All right. Now, I just want to mention that. So if you're ever like, well, where does it live? It lives in your ArcGIS Online. All right. Now, jumping back over to the Hub site, now we're going to get into the fun stuff. All right, we're going to start playing around and editing our new Hub site here. First thing that I want to do is I want us to all go through the settings here. So on the left-hand side underneath Customize, this is what we call the Customize panel. So the first thing under the Customize panel is Settings. Under Settings, this is where you can start changing the name of your Hub site. So say, for example, I wanted to add in a year, right? Maybe this is the general plan update for 2040. If I type in 2040 here, you'll see in the top right corner that the Save button that has an exclamation point now is basically telling me, hey, you've made a change and it's not saved yet. So make sure you save it, right? So what we want to do is if we add in the year 2040 at the end of our name here, and we hit save, you'll now see that your name of your Hub site has actually updated to General Plan Update 2040 SCAG Admin. Or for you, it would be General Plan Update 2040 SCAG Student Number. Now, after we save it, what we also see is a new notification that our draft isn't published. So what that means is that this Hub site, the changes that I've made, oh my goodness, the changes that I've made are not final, okay? So what we want to do is in the drop down next to the save button, there's a little arrow here. Next, if we hover over that arrow, a few options come up here. The first option is to preview the draft. Now, what that means is if we preview the draft, that change that I made will be shown, but it's not final. So we're kind of working in a draft mode right now because I haven't yet saved and made, or I haven't yet published my edits. So to make my edits final and to save them, all I have to do is click Publish Draft. Now, publishing this draft doesn't mean that it goes public. It just means that my edits are final. We don't have an undo button. We don't have an automatic save like, a lot of, like Excel has, or, Word or whatever. So anytime, this is my number one tip, anytime you make an edit in your Hub site that you like, make sure to save and publish your draft. All right, because we don't have the undo button. And if you make an edit that you don't like and you end up, I don't know, deleting an entire section, there's no way to actually get it back unless you hit the refresh for your browser. So that's the only way to revert back. Does anybody have any questions on this? Because I know it can be a little confusing. All right, cool. And please, please use the chat too. If you have any of those questions, just send them in the chat and I'll be sure to answer them. Okay, so if you're still in the settings here, so again, we're underneath the customize panel. First option is settings. If we go into tracking and consent, what you can actually enable kind of tracking notices. So if that's something that your city or organization mandates, that you tell residents when you're tracking their use of the site, you can turn that on here. And then you can also include your own disclaimer, but we do have one that Esri automatically provides. So I just wanted to show you that. The next thing under domain settings, this is how you change your URL. So maybe I don't like what my URL says up here. I wish it had the year that my general plan update was for. So what I can do is under domain settings, I can choose to modify my domain. Just like before, all I have to do is go into my site URL section here and then add in 2040 or 2050 or whatever year your general plan update is for. Once I add in my year here, I can hit save, and then Hub will direct me to that new URL. So it's saying, yay, success, you changed your URL. Let's go to that new site or to that new URL now. Now we can see up here that now there's 2040 within my URL. So it all worked out. You can also, in case this was, something that your communications or marketing department wants, you can also create a custom URL. So if you didn't want it to have hub.arcgis in it at all, you can actually completely get rid of that. So we do support 100% custom domains. So just to let you know, if your IT department asks or your marketing department asks, we do support that as well. All right. So now we're going to head back to customize. So if you're still underneath settings here, we're just going to hit back to customize, that blue customize back arrow here. And then we're going to go into our theme, into theme. We're not going to spend any time editing the theme of our hub site because the creator of this did a fabulous job. And I don't want to mess with it too much. But if you wanted to maybe use your own city's colors, or you have branding guidelines that you need to address, this is where you could do it. So if I wanted to change the background color of this top blue section here, I can go ahead, click that square, and then I can start, using it and typing in my own codes here if I needed to. Same thing if I wanted to change the header as well. I can go up here and, make it a different color. If you want to go ahead and do so, please be my guest. But it's all really easy to kind of configure for your own branding guidelines. Again, I'm just going to keep mine the way that it's been set up, but this is where you can do so. You can also change the colors of your fonts as well. And if you wanted to bring in your own custom font from Google Fonts, you can do that here too. All right. So heading back up to customize, we're going to go back to customize here. What I want us all to do is quickly explore this page icon here. All right. So if we all click on that page icon with the 11 next to it, I want you all to understand what was created. So because we launched that template, right? We browsed templates, we, typed in SCAG, and then we activated that template. Basically, what that did is it included and launched 11 different pages to go along with it. These 11 pages have already been configured for you, and they correlate to the different aspects of the general plan update or relate to one of the elements, like the housing element, the noise element, the environmental justice element. And so each of these pages can be edited similarly to how we're going to start editing this main page. Now, because of time, we won't be able to go into every single one of these pages. However, if you launch this in your own organization, you would have access to all of these pages, and then you can go through and start customizing them and adding in the different applications into each of the pages. So a lot of the pages do look similar to one another. For example, the different, the conservation element page and the noise element page look very, very similar. So once you kind of get used to one, the other ones kind of fall into place as well. Are there any questions on the pages that have been created? And also, if you find out that you don't want a page, maybe you don't want the open space element page, you can delete them here as well. I don't recommend doing that for the time being, but when you launch it in your own organization, this is where you can delete them as well. Okay. So now that we've gone into the settings and we've explored how you can change the name of your hub site and the URL, we've gone into theme, that's how you can change the overall look and feel. Where's the section to the pages? Great question. So if you are in your customize panel here, if you're in settings, go back to customize, or if you're in theme, go back to customize. There's a little icon in the top right of that right next to customize. If you click that, these are all your pages. Do you have to save a page before you can navigate to a new page? Yes and no. If I made, changes here, and then I wanted to jump to another page, I want to make sure that I save my edits first. So you do want to save your pages as you edit them, so that way you don't have to go back and kind of recreate the edits that you've already done. So I always recommend saving before you navigate to any other pages. That's a good question though. And also, I mean, I can start working on the conservation page before working on the housing page, or I can work on the safety page in between, right? You can jump in between all of the different pages. Just make sure that you save them so your work is saved as well. So again, remember, we want to save and we want to publish the draft so that our edits are final. All right. So next thing that I want us to do is I want us to change the title, or the banner, the banner of our hub site. So to do so, all you have to do is click on the words here, General Plan Update. And to change the banner, all you have to do is click inside of the line and just start typing. I've added 2040 at the end of my banner, but if you wanted to say, City of Redlands, maybe, I want it to be on 2 separate lines. That looks a little bit better. So General Plan Update for the City of Redlands, 2040. If you don't like how big that banner is, I mean, I like it kind of big and bold, but what you can do is you can highlight that banner, and you can use the style items here and start changing the way that this looks. So maybe I want my style to be a little smaller. I can go into that style icon and choose, you know, with smaller fonts. Again, I like it big, so I'm gonna keep it that way. I'm gonna get rid of the italicized part of it. Same thing for this section here, guiding the vision of the city's future for the year 2045. Oh, here we go, 2045. I'm gonna have different years all over my hub site. But maybe I don't want this subtitle here. I can delete it, or I can type my own subtitle. And once I like my edits, I'm going to save and publish my draft. All right. Now, we all don't want to have the same background image, right? I mean, we all live in different cities or, you know, different areas. So to change the background image of this banner section, if you hover over the image back here, what you'll see is on the right side, right next to your scroll bar, you're going to see an editing pencil. If you click on that editing pencil, it'll bring up the panel, the editor panel, on the left-hand side of your screen. Likewise, if I clicked the trash can, this would delete this entire section from my hub site. So if you wanted to delete a section, this is where you would do so. Now, we're not going to delete it, but if you found a different section on the page that you didn't like, you can go ahead and delete that. But again, what we want to do is we want to click on that editing pencil here. And then we want to upload our own image. Now, what I've gone ahead and done is I've actually created a folder of images if it's something that you are interested in using. So I'm going to go ahead and type in this folder here. And what you can do is if you open that up, or you can use your own images on your own. If you want to use your own images on your own desktop, go for it, right? If you have some images that you like, please use those. But if you don't have any, if you click on that link and click download, and then open up that folder, what you'll see is that a folder shows up. It's just a folder, and within that folder, there's a bunch of images. All right. What's the minimum photo size required? Juan, that's a great question. I think it's 2 megabytes, I believe. Or no, that's the maximum. I might be able to look it up. Harry, do you know the minimum photo size?
I'm looking that up right now.
Thank you. Thanks, Harry. Yeah, we'll figure that out. Thank you. But again, if you wanted to just use some of the images, I'll be using these images. So you know, this is what I'll be using. Go ahead and use these, or you can use your own. It's up to you. Okay, so we go back over to our hub site here. And so we clicked that editing pencil. And now what we want to do is we want to delete this existing image. So there's a little trash can here. So we're going to delete that existing image. And if you're using the images that I've given you, you can go ahead and choose the image, the header image skyline color JPEG file and drag it in. Or you can also use your own, and you can browse for an image on your desktop, and then go ahead and find some images that you want to use. There are some other kind of points here. If I wanted to change the focal point of my image, I could do that. My image doesn't change, but if you had an image that you wanted the, a different part of it to be showing, this is how you can do that. All right. So again, now that we like what we've created, we're going to go ahead and save and publish our draft. All right. How's everyone doing? Can I get a few green check marks, thumbs ups? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Awesome. Okay. Great. All right. Thumbs up. Perfect. All right. So now what I want to do is I want us to start scrolling through and taking a look at what's included. When we drag and drop the photo, it doesn't come up. Okay. So if it's not coming up, what if it's in your file explorer here, you can extract. If you click extract here and then extract all, hit extract again, just keep hitting extract, 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 extract. It'll show up in your download file system. And then just like before, you can double click on images and text, and then you'll be able to see these images here. So then what you should be able to do is if I go into my edit here, pull it back up. Oh, I got to delete that. All right. Now, oh, my computer might have just froze. There we go. Now it should work. Maybe. Oh, wow, it's not working. Okay. I apologize. I don't know why it's not working. If you have another image though on your desktop, hopefully that should work. You can also, maybe one of the other images work. I apologize. I can take a look at that after the workshop here as to why that's not working. Oh, great. I'm glad it worked. Cool. All right. Let me go back in and add my own image here. Okay. So scrolling on through, next up, we have what is a general plan. This is just a text box, just like above with our banner. You can go ahead and start typing some more relevant information regarding your city. Now, we're not going to spend any time there just because of our time limit here. But then what we're going to see is this section about the general plan elements. So this section, these squares have actually been pre-populated, again, because you launched that template that was already configured. So the squares that you see here are linked to the 8 element pages that were created when you launched that template. So this section is using something called the gallery card, all right? The gallery card is one of the cards that are a part of Arcgis Hub. So if you click on this section here, you click on any of these boxes or images, you'll see that the editing panel comes up on the left-hand side. Again, this is automatically being populated in because of that template that you launched. However, what you can also do is you can select your own content if you wanted to. So just to show you what that looks like, if I decided to select my own content, I could go ahead and maybe I wanted to include an urban scenario or an urban web app, right? Maybe I want to include a survey. Maybe I want to include data here. So this is all configurable. But again, because this is the general plan update hub site, we wanted to just make it really easy for you and automatically populate in this content here. However, what you can also do is you can change the appearance of what these boxes look like. For example, if I wanted to add a drop shadow, you know, in the back of these individual boxes here, I can go to my drop shadow options and then add in a shadow if I wanted to. Same thing with the corners, I can make them rounded, and then I can start changing what my text says. So maybe I want it to say, click to learn more. Then if I wanted to have my buttons hollowed out or filled, it's all pretty customizable and configurable. I like what I've done here, so I'm going to go ahead and save and publish my draft. All right. Scrolling down on this main page here, we're going to see current updates. So these are probably the, thanks, Harry. So these are the current elements that are being focused on right now. Again, if I click on these squares here, I can go ahead and select which element pages I want to include. So I don't actually have to keep these here. If I wanted to choose the other ones, I can go ahead and do so. Now we're not going to spend the time, but if you wanted to, go ahead and choose different content, you're more than welcome to do that. Now scrolling all the way down to the bottom, what you'll see here is a survey. And what we want to do is we want to enable this survey. We want to turn the survey on. So to do so, again, because of that template that you launched, this survey was automatically created for you. So to edit the survey and to basically make sure that it's made public, what you're going to do is in the top of your, this is what we call the managing section of Hub. So if you go to the managing banner of your Hub site and you hover over it, what you want to do is you want to go to feedback, because since it's a survey, it's feedback, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to hover over the title of your Hub site and then click on feedback. And what you should see are all of the surveys that were created when you launched the template. And one of those surveys should be the community sentiment. Actually, before you click on anything, let me just triple check here. Yeah, so when you're in feedback, you want to find your community sentiment survey. So it should say community sentiment survey template. If you click on that, it'll actually open up the survey editor. And again, because you launched that template, the survey was already created for you. But if maybe you wanted to, well, first we want to make sure that it's located in our own city, but maybe you wanted to add additional questions or remove some questions, right? This is all the way in which you would do so. If I wanted to change the title, just like everything in Hub, right? All you have to do is click on that section that you want to change, and then it'll bring up the editor here. So if I wanted to change this from community sentiment survey, and then I wanted to add in my student number or my name or the city of my, or the name of my city, I can do that. And then of course, we want to ask, where is your neighborhood? Well, right now it's kind of focused in on a really, really large area. So to make it a, oh, is there a question? Okay. So what we can do is we can find your own city here. So to do so, if you click on this question, where is your neighborhood? And if you wanted to change it from where's your neighborhood to, where's the closest, where's the intersection that you live closest to, right? You can change this to whatever you want. Under find address or place, I'm just going to use Redlands here. I'm going to type in my city. And it will zoom me in. We can see some other questions here. So again, if I wanted to edit this question, how would you rate the overall quality of life in this community? I can click on that question and edit it. I can also change what icon is being used and what the values are as well. All right. So I like my survey layout. I really like it. I think it's really representative of what I want my community to answer. So now I want to save my survey and I want to publish my survey. So with Hub, with surveys, we want to make sure that we save and publish. All right. So now that we've saved and published our survey successfully, again, what we did is we zoomed into our city. Maybe we went through and changed one or two of these questions. We've saved and published our survey. Now we want to make sure that it's publicly available. To make sure that it's publicly available, on the left-hand side, next to our edit, next to our panel over here, there's a little person with there's like a little person icon with a circle around it. And when you hover over it, it says share. Click on that. And under survey, right now, it's only visible to you, but we want to make it visible to the public. So that's what we're going to do. We also have the option to make map-based feedback as well. And so if we wanted it so that this map is the focal point of this survey, underneath that little person icon, under that share button, there's a settings icon. This settings icon, changes the settings of the survey. So we can actually schedule times for this to be open and closed. So if you didn't want to have to go in and manually, remember, oh, on the 20th of May, I have to go in and close that survey, you can set it up to automatically close by itself. I'm just going to keep mine open. I'm not going to set a schedule. But under map display at the bottom here, we just want to make sure that map focused is turned on, and it is. So we're set, we're ready to go. All right. So and if you wanted it to be a standard display, which means that it's kind of just one long scrolling survey, it's not an immersive experience. It's more like the survey is its own question versus the main display of the survey. You can also change it to standard here. Okay. So to get back to your Hub site, to the left of feedback, there's an ellipses. Or to the right of the Hub drop down, there's an ellipses here. So if you hover over the ellipses, you can click General Plan Update 2040 SCAG Admin. Again, this is the name of your Hub site. Now, I like what we've all created, right? I think that my Hub site looks really, really great. I like my survey. I like what I've typed in here. I like my background image. I like my branding. And maybe I want to go ahead and make this publicly available. So to make it publicly available, just like with that survey, right? There's a little person icon with the circle around it. And when you hover over it on the left-hand side over here, it says share. Once here, I want to go ahead and make my my hub site public. And just to make sure that everything is there, we're going to scroll through. Oh, I see my drop shadow. I like that. It says click to learn more. Maybe I've changed you know, what's currently being worked on. You know, and now I see that my, you know, my survey is here. All right, I think I really like this. We've made it public, and now I want to take a look at it, right? Remember how I said that we always want to save and publish our draft? Well, you also have the option to view the published version of your hub site. So if we want to view the published version, this is what it would look like when your community opens it up, right? So this is a really great check to make sure that everything looks right, that it flows correctly, you know, that it's the way that you want it to look. And then what we can do is we can scroll all the way down to the bottom where our community sentiment survey is, and we can go ahead and take the survey. Let's just make sure it's what we want it to look like, right? My survey opens up. I see that we're zoomed into the city of Redlands. That's where I wanted it. Maybe I want to zoom in a little bit more, choose a specific neighborhood. So I'm going to draw an area. That's where I live. That's a terrible circle. I'm going to rate that it's an awesome community. And we can go through and take my survey and then submit the results. So again, we just want to make sure that this is exactly how we want our hub site to look, and how we want our community engagement to look as well. Are there any questions? Comments? This is the coolest survey builder ever. Awesome. Thanks, Stephen. I love that. All right. So to get back to our hub site, yeah, I like the little, yeah, the cheersing emoji. Great. Oh, can you go back to the area selection on the survey, please? Sure. So if I go and take my survey here, and I want to zoom into a neighborhood, again, we're just viewing this as a resident, right? We're kind of testing it. What I can do is at the top of the screen, it says draw area. And then this is where I can actually draw a specific area. Within the survey editor, you could have also chosen, instead of an area, you could have also chosen a point or a line. So this is how you get there. And then can you use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out on the survey map? Unfortunately, no. You can't. You have to use the plus and minus button here. And I did want to mention that this is a mobile responsive survey as well. I'm logged in, and so you, when you open this on your mobile device, it has a different view. Because I'm logged in right now, and I'm kind of in a testing mode, you can't see that, but so no. So unfortunately, no, you can't use the scrolling wheel. But if you were on your cell phone, you could just like kind of scroll down, I guess, using your finger. All right. So to get back to our hub site, we're going to exit survey, or if you submitted your survey responses here, you're going to choose exit survey. And then to get back to our hub site, on the left-hand side, there's an editing pencil. So anytime you see that pencil, that means edit. And we're going to go back into that editing pencil. It's going to bring us back to the editor for our survey. But just like with everything else that I mentioned, right, if we go next to the left of the feedback button, there's an ellipses. So if we hover over that ellipses, we can click on the general plan. We can click on the name of our hub site here. All right. How are we doing? Can I get a few green checks? Because now we're going to go into one of the pages. So we've started editing the main landing page here, but now we're going to go into one of those element pages. All right. I see a few thumbs ups. Okay. Yeah, that's such a great question. Yes, you can find this template using your own organizational account, 100%. So if you follow, there is a document in the planner's corner that actually walks you through how to launch this template. But if you go to, hub.arcgis.com and you sign in using your own organizational credentials, if you go through the same steps of creating a new site, browsing templates, exploring the world templates, typing SCAG, it's publicly accessible. Yes. If you have any issues accessing Hub, I recommend reaching out to your GIS group or to your account manager, and we'll be able to help you out and get you access into Hub. So just letting you know. Great question. All right. So if we're all back on our main page here for our Hub site, like I mentioned, we're going to edit one of the element pages. The element page that we want to go into. So to get to the element pages, again, we're in the customize panel, top right, there's a little page icon with 11 by it. We're going to click on the page icon. And then the first page is about the general plan. So we're going to go to about the general plan. Just like with that main page that we were editing, if we wanted to change the background banner, we can do that by going to the far right, clicking that editing pencil and uploading our own image. If we wanted to change the text here, maybe add more information here or edit the subtext, again, we can just click on that text box and start typing away. As we scroll through here, we see what is the general plan. Maybe we want to update this with our own words. So we can click in this section, delete what's in there and start typing in our own information. And this will be different for all of you. I mean, you all have different cities and you might have different ways of explaining what the general plan update is. And so this is a great way for you to kind of do some customization for your own organization. Continuing to scroll down, just like with everything else, if we wanted to go through the different steps of the general plan update process, this is where we could do that. However, if I also wanted to maybe indicate what, if we also wanted to indicate what phase we're in, all I have to do is highlight maybe setting goals with residents, and I can actually bold that part of it. Again, if I wanted to change the verbiage in here, I can do so. Scrolling through, we see the stakeholders involved in my general plan update. We see the general plan timeline. As you saw in my demo previously, maybe the duration isn't 2 years, but maybe it's 5 years. Maybe it's meant to end in 2025. That math doesn't add up. There we go. Scrolling through, we can now see, maybe some partners that you're working with. Now, you'll see that all of these images are the same. Now, what if we want to edit one of those images, right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to change one of those images. Now, I promise what we're about to do isn't as scary as it may look, right? So to change the image, we're going to click in one of these in this section. Maybe we want to click on one of the images or unpartner or whatever. And we're actually going to choose to edit in HTML. Down here in the bottom left, we're going to edit in HTML. Now, I promise it's not as scary as it looks. Okay, I'm not a web developer. I don't do this stuff often, but I know how to change. I know how to change the image, and I promise you, you can too. So I'm typing in, I just sent in a URL, okay? Now what you'll see is on line 5 here, there's a URL already in here. It says HTTPS, images. You see that? What we want to do is we want to highlight it, and then we're just gonna paste in that URL that I sent in the chat here. So I'll bring it over. That URL that we put in the chat, that I put in the chat, we're gonna right click, we're gonna copy it. We're gonna highlight this section in between the quotation marks. And then we're going to paste. Now, if your next line bumps down, just hit backspace, super easy. And now we're gonna hit apply. Look at that. We all did a little bit of coding today. Super easy to do, all right? And there's not much of this in here, but if you wanted to change these images, now you know how. And it's really easy. It's just about getting an image online and then pasting in those URLs. So just wanted to give you, now you can log off today and say, hey, I know how to code. At dinner tonight, you can tell some friends, hey, I know how to do coding now. All right. As we continue down here, you can also add in additional resources if you wanted to. Again, I'm not going to get into this. It is in the documentation that's in the planner's corner that all of you have access to. But if you have any questions about how to add in data into ArcGIS Hub, just reach out and I'd be happy to walk you through that process. Lillian, what if you want to insert a local image from your computer? That's a great question. Unfortunately, this section was coded in, right? But if you wanted to add in an image, otherwise, without this little text box here, if you go to layout, or if you're in the layout panel already, and everybody can follow along with me for this. This is a great thing to know. You can actually drag in an image card. So it's the third one down. So all I have to do is take my cursor, click on the image card, drag it. And what you'll see are these white boxes that kind of show up, right? Around this section here. And maybe I want to drop my image right underneath these 3 images here. I'm going to drop my image. And then I'm going to upload one from my computer, just like what we did before with the banner. So maybe we have some kids at school that we want to add in here. So this is how you can add images from your desktop And then if you wanted to have text next to it, and I'll go through this one more time just to show everybody. But if you wanted to then add in text next to it, if you go back to layout, find the text card. So it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 5th one down. You bring in the text card, just like with that image, we see all those white boxes showing up. And maybe we want to drop it to the right of my image. And now I can start typing. So again, all drag and drop. So let me just show you that process one more time. If we want to drag in an image, we go to layout. The 3rd one down is image. Insert where you want it. Upload an image. If we want to add in some text, we go back to layout, drag in our text card. Maybe let's do it on the opposite side. Kind of looks cool. And then we can start typing away. All right, so hopefully that helps. And you know, what I recommend too, whenever you open up this Hub site or this template in your own organization, you know, you can go ahead and drag in any of these cards in here. Maybe you want to drag in a map. Maybe you want to add in, you know, an application from your organization, right? These are all different ways that you can bring in some more content into your Hub site. Thanks for asking that, Lillian. All right, so I like what I've done. I'm going to save. And then I'm going to publish. Again, making my edits final. All right, I like what I've done here. I like the edits that I've made. I think it looks really great with all my random text everywhere. I want to make this now public, right? I want to make sure that my community has access to learn more about what this general plan is really about. So just like with that main page before, and just like with the survey that we created as well, the little people icon with the circle around it, if we click on that, it'll open up the sharing settings, and we're going to make it public. Now let's test it out, right? We want to make sure that we like how this looks, and that it's what we want our community to have access to. So to do that, the drop down next to the save button, we're going to go to view published. And what you'll see are all of those edits that you've made. Now, what you can also do, because this is a public page, a public site, you can actually take that URL and copy it. So if we click on the URL, right click, copy. And we want to open it in incognito. To do so, in the top right corner, I'm in Google Chrome, and I'm assuming it's the same in most browsers. There should be either like a 3-dot section or like an editor, something like there should be a way for you to kind of open up a new incognito window. So again, I'm in Chrome, so this is how you do it. So if we open up a new incognito window and then we paste that URL, this is what it looks like. This is what our residents would be seeing. And then what you can also do is if you click on the general plan update button here, this will take you to that home page, and then you can explore what's going on. If we want to view the process and learn more about the general plan, it's great. It's all there. Now what you'll notice though is that not all of those pages are showing up when we're in incognito. And the reason being is because these pages we actually haven't gone into yet and we haven't made publicly available. And so what you can always do is you can start building out your hub site related to the individual element pages that you're currently working on. And you can make those elements public while keeping the other ones private. So if you're only working on the housing element part, right? Go in, edit that page, make it public. But then you don't have to make the environmental element public. You don't have to make all of them public at once. You can really start kind of focusing in on the specific elements that you're working on at that time. So just think about it, right? As you start building these out, it's not like you have to have all of it done right away. You could start sharing out parts of the template or parts of your site as you continue working on it. All right. So we're going to get out of this. You can just hit exit to get out of that view, out of your incognito window. And then we want to go back into editing our hub site. So if you're on, so this is the view that you probably should have. And then on the left-hand side, you can click on your editing pencil here, and then we're back into our editor. Next, we're going to go into one more page, I believe, just given our time here. We're going to go into the housing element page because I want us to all take a look at the different element pages. So what we'll go through is the housing element page. To get to the pages again, if you're in the About General Plan page, to the left, it says Pages. So click on Pages. It'll bring us back to our main landing site, but it'll pop open the page section, the page panel here. And as I mentioned, we're going to go into the housing element page. So it's the sixth one down, the housing element page. Again, to get back to that, what we're going to do is we're going to click Pages, pop open all of the page layout portion here, and then click on housing element page. We're not going to spend any time editing any of the banners or the text here. I think we've done enough of that. But what you'll see is you'll see similar timelines. Maybe we don't want the timeline here for the housing element page, so I can delete this section if I want to. We can also pull in indicators from your urban models. So if you work on some indicators within urban and within the projects that you're focused on, you can actually export them and then include them here. So maybe throughout the general plan update, you're going to have 1,000 new housing units. I don't know. You can pull in those indicators here and showcase them through the statistics. You'll also see here that we have another survey. This survey, though, is related to the housing, is a housing survey. If I wanted to edit this housing survey, I would go through the same process that I went through for the community sentiment survey. So what I would do is I would go to my drop down for my hub site. I'd go to the name of my hub site, and I'd go back to feedback. Once in feedback, I see my housing survey template here. And if I want to check to make sure it aligns with the questions that I want to ask, and I like the way that it looks and feels, and maybe I want to zoom into my city, right? we can go ahead and take a look at what this survey is actually asking. So there are a bunch of different questions in here that are completely different to the community sentiment survey. And what you can see is some of these are actually required. And the required questions are noted by the little red asterisk up here. But if we, again, say we want to delete this question, we can click on it and then click that little exit, that little X there, and that'll delete this question. Maybe we want to change the responses here. Maybe, we don't want it to be required. So we can uncheck this validation box here if we didn't want it to be a mandatory question. So again, this is all something that you can go through and start editing for your own city or organization. And once you're satisfied with your questions, you can go ahead and save the survey and publish the survey. So now you can kind of see that, once you start getting the hang of one of the pages, the other pages are very similar, right? You can really start kind of editing these individual pages pretty quickly once you, get the hang of it. So we get this pop-up, hey, do you want to upgrade this to a map-based survey? Thanks for asking. Maybe I do, or maybe I don't. For right now, I'm just going to keep it a standard display, but I'm happy that it kind of asked me that question. Maybe I forgot, right, to go into my settings and to change it. But because we want to make sure that this is publicly available, we're going to go to that person icon with the circle around it. We're going to choose survey and make sure that our sharing level is set to public. Great. So to get back to our page, just like before, we're going to hover over that ellipses and we're going to click on the name of our site. To get back to our page that we were working on, we're going to click that page icon. And then we're going to go to housing element page. And if I scroll down to where that survey is located, just like with that gallery card that I was showing you before, you can also affect the way that this survey looks. So if I wanted to actually embed the survey, I can do that here. So instead of clicking a button and then it opening up in a new tab, I could make it so that way when a person comes to my hub site, they see the survey and maybe they're more inclined to take it. I can also change the height here. So if I wanted it to be a bit larger, I can make it a bit taller here. I can make the height a bit bigger. I can also say whether or not I want the header to be, showing. Maybe I actually want it to be a black and white theme. Maybe I want it to look pretty integrated into my hub site itself. So there's a few different appearance options that you can start changing. Another thing that I wanted to mention here, if you're viewing this on a mobile device, you're viewing the hub site on a mobile device, you can actually hide it from mobile viewers. This is the same with if you have a map embedded onto your hub site, or you have a application or a dashboard embedded onto the site. You can actually hide it from mobile users for a better viewing experience, if that's something that you're concerned about. All right, so I like how this looks. I now want to save and publish my draft. And then of course, we want to make it publicly available. So if we click public, now my page will be available for anybody to view. Okay, so we only have a few minutes left for this hands-on portion. What I now want to do is I want to show one more page that you'll be able to edit. It's just a little bit different from the other pages that we've been editing so far. I am going to go at a bit of a quicker pace, but I want it to be in the recording that I'll be sharing out with all of you through the Planner's Corner. So again, I'll be going at a bit of a quicker pace. If you want to follow along, that's great. But again, it'll be in the recording for you to view later. The next page that I actually want to go into is sharing a plan. Of course, you have done so much work with ArcGIS Urban, with Business Analyst, with creating web maps and apps, right? And now we want to share all of that information out to the public. This isn't, Hub isn't just about text and words and images, but it's really about sharing this content in a way that your community truly understands. And so if I go back to my pages here, I want to go into the very last page, share a plan. As I mentioned, this page looks a little bit different from the others. This would most likely be the last element page that you would be working on, or not the element page, but the last page that you're working on after you've gone through the general plan update and you've approved the update itself. This is where you would want to start sharing out that information. Again, we can talk about what the plan is. We can include some statistics related to some of those indicators that you've identified. But maybe we also want to include a map. Now you can include a web map. So if I go to my organization here, and maybe we have a land use map here, we can go ahead and include that map. However, what you can also do is you can include an urban model. So as I mentioned before, you can embed urban just like what State College did. And all I have to do is bring in an iframe card. If I drop my iframe in where I want it, I will now be able to embed or use a URL from Urban and include that here. So let me pull up a super quick, let me grab a URL quickly, or Jason, if you're on and you have a URL, let me know. But I can pull one up pretty quickly here. All right. So if I could copy this. Sorry, I apologize, everyone. I'm pulling up. Okay. All right, now we have it. Oh, I pulled the wrong URL. All right. Now we officially should have it. All right. And I pull this in, I can apply that URL, and then the urban model will start to populate in. The next thing that I wanted to show you is, again, you can bring in new maps, right? But you can also include charts as well. So again, given the data that you've used to analyze the different scenarios and projects, I can go ahead and find some data within my organization or that I've been using for that analysis. And so again, if you're following along with me, you can do this too. And if I bring in some stakeholder survey points here, I can actually include what some responses were. So I can include the have you participated in previous planning efforts in your community, and then I have everybody's answers. So you don't even have to go out and create your own charts. There is a charting capability within ArcGIS Hub. So this is another benefit to this platform. And again, it's all integrated into your GIS. It's integrated into the system that you're currently using, right? So it does make pulling in that information and content really, really easy. Whether it's surveys or charts or dashboards, right? It's really easy to incorporate all of that work that you've done thus far. All right. So once again, I like what I've done. I can go ahead, save and publish my draft. I can also now make this a publicly available site by making it, by editing my sharing level here. And then just one more time, if I wanted to take a look at what this looks like from the public's eye, I can open up a new incognito window. I can take a look at this plan. I can see my map. I can see the urban model. I can also see that chart now. I can take a look at and view what the process looks like. And now when I go to my main homepage, what you'll also see now is that the element pages that we've edited so far and have made publicly available are automatically showing up on this landing page. Whew, that was a lot, right? We did a lot. And so what's next? Well, first, I just wanted to thank everyone. Seriously, thank you so much for joining us today. I know that you've been going to a lot of workshops related to ArcGIS Online, Business Analyst, ArcGIS Urban, now ArcGIS Hub. You are now set. These are all the tools that you've had access to, and we really hope that you use them in the ways that we've showed you. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Reach out to your account managers, reach out to your solution engineers. You have Harry, right? Harry's on your team now. So reach out to Harry with any questions. But we do also really value your feedback. If you'd like to talk with us in more detail, let us know. If you hold your phone up to this QR code, I'm sure many of us are familiar with QR codes now. I feel like every restaurant I go to has a QR code for its menu instead of like a physical menu. Anyway, I did also post the survey in there as well. If you want to talk with us about anything that you've seen, Business Analyst, Urban, Hub, ArcGIS Online, anything, let us know. We're here to help you, and we really do want to help you. So where do we go from here? Well, first, oh no, did I not make that public? Oh, thank you. Okay, let me, weird. Okay, oh boy. Okay, let me, let me figure this out really quickly. That's so interesting. I guess maybe I didn't make it public. I need to take my own advice and watch my workshop again, I guess, and make sure I'm making everything publicly available, huh? Let's see if this works. All right, just give me one.
While Morgan's doing that,
Mm-hmm.
I want to let everybody know, yeah, my name is Harry Moore. I'm definitely here to help throughout the years. I'm sorry, I've been here for 14 years, and throughout those years, I've always worked with local government. So I have a good understanding how a lot of local governments work. Born and raised in Southern California. I'm actually located in Redlands. So I'm just a hop, skip, and a jump away from many of you guys.
Awesome.
So yeah, please feel free to reach out to me as well as anybody else here at Esri if you want to learn more about this, talk more about this technology and all the other technologies that you've seen in the past.
Awesome. Thank you, Harry. Hopefully that should work. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, if not, I'll be able to send the survey out here shortly. And I apologize. I think there might be something going on my survey side, but I will figure that out and I can send you oh, cool, Yvette. That's awesome because it's not working for me. All right, as long as it's working, that's all that matters. And so really what we've done today is we've kind of gone through this process, right? We activated Hub, we created and published a new site. And the next steps really is to enable your community, right? With those surveys, make sure that they're taking them and analyze those responses. Maybe you want to push out the results back to the public, right? Through a dashboard or through an application, things like that. And then last, right, we want to measure and promote the success of your hub site as well. Yeah, so this, the workshop recording will be posted on the Planner's Corner. And I do have a link for the Planner's Corner as well. But as I mentioned, you know, if you're interested in launching Hub in your own organization, if you're interested in launching this general plan update, you have access to it, right? If you need help signing in, I highly recommend going to your GIS group. But if they, you know, if you continue to need help, just reach out to us and we're happy to get you kind of started. So there is a link to the Planner's Corner. The Planner's Corner is actually built on Arcgis Hub. So if you didn't know that, the Planner's Corner itself was created on Hub. So when you sign into Hub, or whenever you go to this site here, what you'll see is how you can get started, right? So this is everything that we just went through. There is a walkthrough on how to launch the template, how to edit some of the surveys, things like that. Likewise, the business analyst information is here, resources, and then we will be posting the workshop walkthrough recording shortly, same with Urban and same with ArcGIS Online. So this is where you will have access to everything. So take a look there. Probably by next week, we'll have all of the recordings posted there. Cool. Yep. No problem. And then there are a bunch of resources as well. If you're interested in learning more about Hub and how to get started, we have a bunch of blogs out there, a bunch of tutorials, videos, examples. There's a lot out there. So if you want to learn more about training or how to, right, with Hub, let me know and I'm happy to provide those resources to you. Again, your feedback is valued, and I know that it's the end of the day for some of you here. I just wanted to give one last massive thanks to all of you, and from all of the SCAG team, from all of us at Esri. It has been so wonderful working with all of you, and we are so excited to see what you create with Urban and Hub and Business Analyst and ArcGIS Online and everything else. So if you have any questions, you know where to reach us. Please do not hesitate to reach out, and we will definitely be able to help you. So with that, I'm happy to stay on for a few more minutes and answer any questions. But until then, great meeting you all, and I'm excited to see what you all create. Thank you. If there aren't any more questions, then I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. Please reach out with any additional questions. Talk to you all soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.